The envelope feels heavier than paper should. I stare at the official letterhead, the company logo embossed at the top. Bennett Household Essentials, the business my grandfather built from nothing. What should have been a normal birthday dinner has transformed into something else entirely. Grandmother Eleanor watches me from across her mahogany desk, her eyes steady while mine can't seem to focus on the words swimming before me. Majority shareholder? My voice sounds distant, like it belongs to someone else. This can't be right. The papers tremble in my hands. I blink hard, tears blurring the text, the signatures, the places marked for my own name, Sloane Bennett. 21 years old today, and suddenly heir to a $180 million company. Your mother and Travis have been trying to siphon money from the company, grandmother says, her voice remarkably calm for someone delivering such news. I couldn't let them take what should rightfully belong to you. I look up, searching her face for any hint that this is some elaborate birthday prank. There is none. Only the determined set of her jaw, the same expression she wore when negotiating with suppliers or handling difficult board members, a strength I've always admired, but never imagined would be directed at her own daughter. But why me? The question escapes before I can stop it. I'm still in college. I don't know the first thing about running. Her hand finds my shoulder, steady and warm. I've watched you grow into someone who understands responsibility, Sloane. The company needs that now. My mind races backward 5 years, to the morning that changed everything. I was 16, still half asleep when Dad's car pulled out of the driveway for the last time. No explanation, no goodbye, just the sound of tires on gravel fading into nothing. Mom said he'd found someone else, that he'd betrayed us all. I believed her then. 8 weeks later, I counted every single day Mom announced her engagement to Travis. The diamond on her finger caught the light as she told me that we were moving forward, that this was our chance at happiness again. I tried to be happy for her, for us. Then came the morning that truly broke me. Mom stood in our kitchen, her bags already packed, 7-year-old Riley clutching her favorite stuffed rabbit beside her. You'll be staying with your grandmother while we get settled in Dallas, Mom said, applying a fresh coat of lipstick without meeting my eyes. For how long? I asked, already knowing the answer somehow. Indefinitely. Travis has opportunities there. Riley's young enough to adjust to a new school. She snapped her compact shut. It makes sense. And I don't get to come? The question hung between us, pathetic and small. Why can't I come too? Mom sighed, like my question was an inconvenience rather than my life being upended. You're practically an adult, Sloane. Riley still needs me. And I didn't? The unspoken message pierced through me. My fingers curled into fists at my sides, nails digging half-moons into my palms. In that moment, a silent vow formed I would prove my worth, even if she couldn't see it. Sloane has always been difficult. I overheard Mom telling grandmother later that day, her voice carrying through the hallway. She takes everything so personally. It's probably better this way. That's enough, Vanessa. Grandmother's voice cut through Mom's excuses. If you're determined to leave, that's your choice. But I won't have you blaming Sloane for your decisions. That night, I learned what true abandonment feels like, losing not just my father, but my mother and sister in one devastating sweep. I curled beneath unfamiliar bedsheets in what would become my room, pressing my face into the pillow to muffle the sounds of my breakdown. Through the wall, I heard grandmother's television volume increase slightly, her way of offering privacy for my grief. Night after night followed the same pattern. I would cry until exhaustion claimed me, and grandmother would pretend not to hear, preserving what little dignity I had left. It became our unspoken ritual, the foundation of a relationship built on mutual respect for each other's pain. Now, 5 years later, I stare at the documents that will change everything again. Only this time, I'm not powerless. This time, I'm not the one being left behind. Next day, the stack of financial reports covering Eleanor's mahogany desk looks innocent enough, just columns of numbers, dates, and account codes. But as I trace my finger down the Dallas branch expenditures page, my stomach tightens. The transfers started small, almost unnoticeable, then grew bolder with each passing month. This can't be right, I whisper, business textbook suddenly connecting to real stakes. This isn't some hypothetical case study, it's my family's legacy being systematically drained. Eleanor leans forward, tapping a manicured fingernail against the most recent entry. $300,000 last month alone, Sloane. And look here. She slides another document forward. Travis has requested direct access to our main accounts. Claims it's for operational efficiency. My mouth goes dry. And Mom? Does she know? Something flickers across Eleanor's face. Disappointment maybe, or resignation. Your mother has never concerned herself with the financial details. But whether she's actively involved or willfully ignorant, she leaves the sentence unfinished. The sickening realization settles over me. The woman who deemed me practically an adult at 16 might be complicit in stealing from her own mother. Mr. Wells arrives precisely at 3, his bow tie slightly askew but his briefcase impeccably organized. Eleanor's home office feels crowded with all of us there. Mr. Wells at Eleanor's right hand, me perched on the window seat, and Mom and Travis seated across the desk. The power dynamics are immediately apparent. Eleanor commands the room despite her 2 years, while Travis keeps loudly interrupting with questions about modern business practices. Mom touches up her lipstick, barely glancing at the spreadsheets Mr. Wells carefully arranges before us. These expenditures require board approval, Mr. Wells explains, adjusting his glasses. We've had no such requests from the Dallas office. Travis waves a dismissive hand. That's old-fashioned thinking, Eleanor. Business moves faster now. His eyes drift to the grandfather clock in the corner, lingering on it like he's calculating its auction value. Speaking of old-fashioned, Eleanor says, voice cool as river water. I've been researching your background, Travis. Mom's compact snaps shut. Mother, really? 3 women in the last decade, Eleanor continues, all over 65, all reporting significant financial losses after your relationships ended. Travis laughs, but his eyes dart toward the door. Those are baseless accusations. As baseless as your qualifications to run a division of our company? Eleanor slides another folder forward. I'm changing the ownership structure, effective immediately. Mom's practiced smile falters. What does that mean? It means, I say, finding my voice, that there will be additional oversight on all financial decisions. The weight of what's truly at stake hits me as Mr. Wells outlines the company financials. Bennett Household Essentials, $180 million in annual revenue, supporting 3 generations of our family and employing over 200 people. People with mortgages, children in college, retirement plans built on the company's stability. People who could lose everything if Travis continues unchecked. Your grandmother has given 30 years to this company, Mr. Wells tells me quietly as Travis argues with Eleanor about unnecessary restrictions. But her heart condition makes her vulnerable. The doctor warned against stress 6 months ago. I glance at Eleanor, noticing for the first time the slight tremble in her hands that she disguises by keeping them folded on the desk. Travis lowers his voice, leaning toward Eleanor. We're family now. Shouldn't we all be working together for what's best for everyone? The threat is veiled but unmistakable. My spine straightens as understanding crystallizes. I might be the only person standing between my grandmother and financial ruin. Later that evening, I discover an unexpected ally when I check my campus email. Professor Harrison has responded to my vague request for business mentorship with surprising enthusiasm. I'd be honored to help. Before teaching, I spent 15 years as a consultant for family-owned businesses in transition. Let's meet Thursday. As I drive home, streetlights casting rhythmic shadows across the dashboard, I wonder if I should immediately confront Mom about what Travis is doing, or wait until I have complete control of the company. Confronting her might warn them both, but staying silent feels like betraying the little sister I haven't seen in years. Would you choose immediate honesty or strategic patience when family loyalty and business security are both at stake? 3 days later, the glossy Bennett Household Essentials brochure mocks me from my desk, our familiar logo now paired with Dallas Innovation Hub in bold letters. Travis's smiling face dominates the center spread, his arm around Mom as they stand before a building I've never seen. The future of American manufacturing is in Texas, the quote beneath his photo declares. My phone buzzes with another supplier call, the third this morning. Yes, Mr. Hartman, I understand your concerns. I say, fighting to keep my voice steady. No, there is no transition plan because my grandmother remains firmly at the helm. The Dallas facility is merely a satellite office. As I hang up, grandmother enters with a stack of letters. 4 more board members received these. She drops them on my desk printouts, questioning her mental fitness to lead. The implication burns between us. At 76, is she too old to run the company? My response is interrupted by Carmen, our housekeeper for 20 years, appearing at the doorway. "Miss Bennett, your daughter is here." Mom stands in our foyer, designer handbag dangling from her wrist, looking utterly out of place in the home she once shared with us. 5 years of absence dissolved with a practiced smile. "Sloane, darling, you look tired." She kisses my cheek. "Travis and I think you should visit Dallas, see what we're building. Learn the business from the ground up." "The business I'm already learning here?" I ask, noticing how she scans the room, eyes lingering on grandfather's antique clock. Her laugh tinkles like broken glass. "Eleanor's methods are outdated. The merger Travis is arranging with Westfield Products will position us globally." My heart stops. "Merger?" "Just preliminary talks," she says, waving dismissively. "Nothing for you to worry about." After she leaves, I discover what those preliminary talks mean. Westfield would absorb our company, diluting family ownership to less than 20%. Travis would receive a leadership position. Grandmother and I would be sidelined entirely. The days blur together after that. By day, I attend marketing strategy seminars, taking furious notes while checking my phone for company emails. By night, I pore over financial statements with grandmother, learning the language of business that will protect us. Sleep becomes a luxury I can no longer afford. At 3 a.m, I catch myself staring at the ceiling, calculating how quickly we can audit the Dallas accounts, wondering if Riley still sleeps with her stuffed rabbit. The weight of responsibility presses against my chest until breathing becomes an effort. My laptop pings with an email from Travis. "Hey kiddo, need access to the legacy supplier accounts for our Q3 planning. Send credentials as soon as possible." The condescending tone makes my skin crawl. He's 45, addressing the majority shareholder like I'm a child running a lemonade stand. One night, passing grandmother's study on my way to make tea, I find her hunched over photo albums, pages open to my high school graduation. "Did I make the right choice?" she asks without looking up. The rare vulnerability in her voice stops me cold. "Putting all this on your shoulders?" I sit beside her, noticing how the lamplight catches the silver in her hair. "You didn't put it there, they did." The next morning, I create a special email folder labeled "Remember Why." Inside, I save messages from employees, many who've been with the company longer than I've been alive. Maria from accounting, whose daughter's college education Bennett paid for. Carlos in shipping, who sends pictures of the house he bought after 15 years with us, the faces behind the spreadsheets. After a particularly brutal board meeting where Travis's allies question every financial decision made in the past quarter, I return to my office to find a cream-colored envelope on my desk. The handwriting belongs to Mr. Wells, our CFO who worked alongside my grandfather for 30 years. "Your grandfather would have been proud today." The note reads, "You have his eyes when you're fighting for what matters." I tape it to my computer monitor where I'll see it daily. 3 weeks later, Carmen interrupts a strategy session. "Miss Bennett, your daughter is here, with the little one." My heart leaps into my throat. In our kitchen stands Mom, looking irritated, and beside her, Riley. At 10, she's taller than I remember, her eyes widening at the sight of me. She breaks free from Mom's grasp and runs into my arms. "Sloane!" she cries, burying her face against my shoulder. As I hold her, she whispers, "Mom said you didn't want to see me anymore." The lie cuts deeper than any of their financial schemes. Mom smiles tightly, watching our reunion with calculated interest. "We should be together as a family," she says, running her hand along our granite countertop. "Riley misses you. We all miss you." "Family," I repeat, the word feeling strange in my mouth. Riley's small hand finds mine, and something crystallizes inside me. Family doesn't abandon each other. Family doesn't lie. I stand straight, noticing for the first time that I'm actually taller than my mother. She has to tilt her chin up to meet my eyes, a small shift in our physical dynamic that seems to unsettle her. "Riley is welcome here anytime." I continue, my voice steadier than I feel. "But I won't be manipulated, not even for her." Mom's mask slips, just for a second, revealing the cold calculation beneath. In that moment, I see myself clearly not as the discarded daughter desperate for approval, but as the protector of my grandmother's legacy and my sister's future. After they leave, support arrives from unexpected quarters. "Mr. Armin Saul?" Wells delivers a leather-bound folder containing financial records so comprehensive they must have taken months to compile. "Everything you need to understand the company's true position," he explains. Grandmother introduces me to 3 board members who pledge unwavering support against Travis's faction. They bring decades of industry experience and loyalty to the table, not through emails or phone calls, but by showing up in person, shaking my hand, looking me in the eye. While Travis sends demands through lawyers with Harvard degrees and Italian shoes, Eleanor's network arrives with institutional knowledge and genuine concern for the company's future. With each meeting, I feel myself changing. My voice grows steadier in boardrooms. I develop Grandmother's unflinching gaze when challenging false statements. The trembling in my hands subsides when presenting financial projections. By month's end, I'm meeting with the company's legal team, exploring options that protect both the business and Riley. The attorney presents a folder containing a private investigator's complete background report on Travis, a history of financial schemes targeting wealthy women, documented with bank records and court filings. As I drive home, my phone buzzes with a text. The name on the screen stops my breath: Daniel Bennett, my father. After 5 years of silence. "We need to talk," it reads. "It's about your mother." 2 days later, the corner table at Riverside Cafe offers just enough privacy for this conversation. I've arrived 15 minutes early, rehearsing what to say to the man I haven't seen in 5 years. When Dad Daniel walks through the door, I almost don't recognize him. His shoulders curl inward, his once confident stride reduced to hesitant steps. The gray at his temples has spread, conquering most of his dark hair. "Sloane." His voice cracks on my name. He reaches forward as if to hug me, then stops himself, settling instead for an awkward handshake. "Thank you for agreeing to meet." I keep my face neutral, the way Grandmother taught me to during difficult board meetings. "You said it was about Mom." He nods, sliding into the seat across from me. "There are things you need to know. Things I should have told you years ago." For the next hour, I listen without interruption as my father unravels the tapestry of lies I've lived with. My pen scratches against my notebook, documenting each revelation with methodical precision. "Your mother." He stares into his untouched coffee. "Vanessa was emotionally abusive throughout our marriage. Nothing was ever good enough. My job, my parenting, even how I loaded the dishwasher." I write down emotional abuse and underline it twice. "The affair she told you about?" His voice drops to a whisper. "It was one mistake after 12 years of being told I was worthless. One night when someone made me feel like I mattered." The coffee shop seems to tilt slightly. I grip the edge of the table. "She told me you left because you found someone better. There was never anyone else after that night. I tried to come back, to fix things for you girls. She threatened to take everything, including you and Riley." I note the timeline, the dates, cross-referencing them with my own memories. The facts align with precision, forming a pattern I should have seen years ago. "Why tell me now?" I ask, surprised by the steadiness in my voice. "Because Travis is dangerous, Sloane. I've been tracking his financial history. This isn't his first attempt at this kind of scheme." By the time we finish, my notebook contains pages of evidence, dates, and witnesses. The father I thought had abandoned me transforms into something else, entirely another victim of my mother's manipulation. Walking back to my car, I feel hollow. The narrative that shaped my adolescence crumbles with each step. Later that week, the first cracks in Travis and Mom's facade appear when Travis attempts to call an emergency board meeting without providing the required 48-hour notice. The company bylaws are clear. All directors must receive proper notification. "Miss Bennett." "Mr. Wells" catches me in the hallway outside Grandmother's office. "I've just received a rather interesting email from your stepfather." He hands me his tablet. Travis's message demands immediate action on critical revenue concerns, with a meeting scheduled for that afternoon. He's violated at least 3 procedural requirements. I say, scrolling through the message. Mr. Wells nods, which gives us grounds to restrict his communication with the board. "Draft the notice," I tell him. "Copy all board members. Include the specific bylaw violations." The next morning, Mom arrives unannounced at Grandmother's house, her Mercedes scattering gravel as she brakes too hard in the driveway. I watch from the library window as she storms up the front steps. "How dare you turn my daughter against me?" Her voice echoes through the foyer as Grandmother calmly leads her into the sitting room. I start to intervene when I notice Riley standing frozen in the doorway, overnight bag clutched to her chest, wide eyes taking in our mother's performance. "You manipulated this situation from the beginning." Mom continues, her finger jabbing toward grandmother. First Daniel, now Sloane. You've always been jealous of my relationship with my daughters. Riley's face transforms as she watches, confusion giving way to something else, recognition. Is that why we left Sloane here? Riley asks, her small voice cutting through Mom's tirade. Because grandmother manipulated everything? Mom spins around, clearly unaware that Riley had followed her inside. Riley, sweetie, this is grown-up business. Wait in the car. But you said Sloane didn't want to live with us, Riley persists. Was that a lie too? The silence that follows stretches like a tightrope between us. With my father's revelations confirming my suspicions, I face a crossroads. Should I expose my mother's lies to protect the company, or find a quieter solution that might preserve some relationship with my sister Riley? Is justice worth the cost of family bonds? The answer comes gradually, through a network of support I never realized I had. Dad provides documented evidence from their divorce proceedings, emails, text messages, financial records showing a pattern of emotional manipulation throughout their marriage. The private investigator's report arrives next, detailing Travis's history, 3 previous relationships with wealthy women, each ending in significant financial losses for them. The similarities are too precise to be coincidental. Even grandmother's doctors contribute statements about her improved health since I took over managing company, stress her blood pressure readings stabilizing for the first time in months. The board's vote is unanimous. Freeze all Dallas branch assets pending a complete financial audit. The effect is immediate. Travis's company credit cards are declined. The lease payments on his Porsche bounce. The catering service for their weekly dinner parties cancels. The cracks in their facade widen daily. Travis misses an important meeting with our largest retail client. Later, we discover he spent that afternoon meeting with our biggest competitor. Mom begins calling board members directly, her stories contradictory, to Mrs. Winters. She claims Travis is the company's true visionary. To Mr. Calloway, she insists Travis has been unfairly excluded from decisions he never showed interest in before. Most telling of all, the Dallas office staff report Travis hasn't been seen at work for 3 days. His assistant received instructions to forward all calls to his personal cell phone. It's time, grandmother says one evening, setting down her teacup with quiet determination. I'm scheduling a formal family meeting for next Friday. The subject will be the future of the company. The game board is set. All pieces are in position. And for the first time since this began, I'm not afraid of what comes next. On the final meeting day, the conference room feels electric with tension. Family portraits spanning 3 generations line the walls, silent witnesses to the unraveling drama. Travis and Vanessa sit across from me, both wearing expressions that might pass for confidence if you didn't know what to look for. I do. The absence of Travis's designer watch. The way Vanessa's fingers keep darting to check her phone. The slight tremor in Travis's voice as he lays out their unexpected compromise. Selling the company is the most sensible option, Travis says, sliding a folder toward my grandmother. The market is favorable. Everyone benefits. I catch Eleanor's eye. Her slight nod confirms she sees through this too. The truth is, Travis continues, tapping a stack of performance reports, the numbers speak for themselves. The company isn't performing well under current management. He doesn't look at me directly. No offense, Sloane, but your inexperience... Perhaps that's why proper guidance is important. I interject, my voice steadier than I feel. Vanessa leans forward, her diamond earrings catching the light. Darling, we're thinking of everyone here. Your grandmother shouldn't be stressed at her age. Eleanor's posture stiffens. In fact, Vanessa adds, her voice dropping to what she probably thinks sounds like concern, if this reasonable offer is blocked, we might need to assess whether Eleanor is still mentally fit to make these decisions. The threat hangs in the air. I see. I open my laptop with deliberate calm. Before we continue, there's something you should see. The projection screen behind me flickers to life. Travis shifts uncomfortably as his own email appears, addressed to our biggest competitor. I'm prepared to provide full access to proprietary formulations for the Evergreen line. I read aloud. In exchange for consideration during acquisition. Vanessa's practiced smile falters. What is this? I click to the next slide. Bank records showing personal expenses charged to company accounts. The villa in Aspen, the boat, Riley's private school tuition. Travis stands abruptly. This is outrageous. You've been spying. Investigating. Eleanor corrects. There's a difference. I continue through the evidence methodically. The private investigator's report details your previous relationships with wealthy women who later reported significant financial losses. 3 of them, to be precise. Another click reveals phone records. And this shows communications between Travis and Vanessa beginning 3 months before Dad left. Interesting timeline. Vanessa's face drains of color. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. I close my laptop. I've already consulted with the district attorney. This meeting is your chance to cooperate before charges are filed. The weight of my grandfather's portrait seems to press down from above. I can almost feel his approval as I slide a different set of papers across the polished mahogany table. My eyes never leave my mother's face. Custody papers? Vanessa whispers, her voice breaking. My father speaks for the first time since the meeting began. I'm filing for full custody of Riley. After everything I've sacrificed for this family, Vanessa begins, her voice rising with practiced indignation. You sacrificed nothing. Eleanor interrupts, her tone cutting through Vanessa's performance. You discarded what you considered inconvenient. Vanessa stands, her chair scraping against hardwood. You can't do this. Riley belongs with me. The evidence suggests otherwise, Dad says quietly. The district attorney found the environment unstable. Travis moves toward the door, but security appears in the doorway. I hadn't told them about that particular precaution. I stand, moving to the head of the table, the same spot where my grandfather once stood while building this company from nothing. For the first time, I don't feel like an imposter there. Here's what happens now, I say, my voice holding a new authority that surprises even me. Option 1. You both sign confessions detailing exactly how you attempted to defraud the company. You return every cent. Travis resigns with no severance. Vanessa agrees to supervised visitation with Riley. In exchange, we don't press charges. I pause, letting the weight of what comes next settle over them. Option 2. We turn everything over to the authorities today. The fraud charges alone carry up to 15 years. Travis looks at Vanessa, then back at me. Something dark passes between them, blame perhaps, or the recognition that they've underestimated me catastrophically. You're bluffing, Travis says, but his voice lacks conviction. I push a pen across the table. Am I? The next morning, whispers spread through the company about Travis's overnight disappearance. Security cameras show him leaving Eleanor's neighborhood at 2 a.m., suitcases in tow. Vanessa can't reach him. His phone goes straight to voicemail. By afternoon, Vanessa discovers a significant portion of her personal savings missing as well. I don't have time to process the satisfaction. On the court confrontation day, Riley sits in the courthouse waiting room, confusion etched across her 10-year-old face. She keeps asking why Mom is crying, why everyone is saying bad things about Travis. The pain in her eyes tears at something deep inside me. Will I still see Mom? She whispers, clutching her rabbit-stuffed animal, older now, one ear nearly loved off. The judge will decide. I tell her honestly, children deserve truth, even when it hurts. Through the heavy wooden doors, I watch the family court judge reviewing the custody documents. Her glasses perch low on her nose as she flips through page after page of evidence. Time stretches impossibly thin. Finally, she looks up, her expression solemn as she meets my father's anxious gaze. I've made my decision regarding permanent placement. The room falls silent, waiting for words that will reshape our family once again, but I will protect everything that's mine in a year. A year later, the boardroom falls silent as I conclude my presentation. Sunlight streams through floor-to-ceiling windows, illuminating the gleaming mahogany table where 12 board members watch me expectantly. 1 year has transformed this space from intimidating territory to my natural habitat. Quarterly earnings exceeded projections by 18%. I announce, closing my leather portfolio with a definitive snap. The Employee Education Initiative has directly contributed to our productivity gains. Mr. Wells nods approvingly. At 73, he's witnessed the company's evolution since my grandfather's time. The Bennett touch, he murmurs to Eleanor. My grandmother's eyes crinkle at the corners, her posture regal in her charcoal suit. Where once I saw only a formidable matriarch, I now recognize my own reflection, the straight spine, the steady gaze that doesn't waver during tough negotiations. Questions? I scan the table, no longer the trembling college student thrust into power, but an executive whose decisions impact hundreds of families. When the meeting adjourns, Eleanor squeezes my hand. Your grandfather would be bursting with pride, she whispers. And so am I. Later that evening, the dining room table gleams under candlelight. The same polished surface where I once received life-altering documents now hosts a simple family dinner. Riley sits beside me, her 12-year-old frame already showing hints of the woman she'll become. "Will Mom ever come back?" Riley asks suddenly, fork paused midair. The question hangs between us. A year ago, I might have flinched, might have answered with barely concealed bitterness. Instead, I set down my water glass deliberately. "Your mom is working through some complicated feelings," I answer, choosing each word carefully. "What matters is that you have people who love you consistently, people who don't walk away when things get difficult." Riley's shoulders relax slightly, like you didn't walk away from me. Family doesn't abandon family. I tell her, the words no longer a desperate wish but a promise I've learned to keep. Across the table, Eleanor watches us with quiet pride. Her eyes meet mine over Riley's head, a silent acknowledgement passing between us how far we've come, how much we've weathered together. The following Saturday brings a smaller gathering in the garden. Crystal glasses catch afternoon light as Eleanor raises a toast. Daniel stands beside me, his presence once unimaginable, yet now a comfortable constant. "To those who protect what matters," Eleanor says, her voice strong despite her 76 years. "Not just assets, but the people who depend on them." Mr. Wells raises his glass. "Here, here." Daniel's eyes meet mine, a warm understanding passing between us. We both know the cost of starting over, of rebuilding trust from ruins. The weight of his hand on my shoulder feels like forgiveness for both of us. Monday morning finds me at my desk reviewing expansion plans. The framed photograph beside my computer shows 4 smiling faces: Eleanor, Daniel, Riley, and me at Riley's school play last month. Behind it sit college brochures. Completing my business degree seems natural now, not the desperate escape it once represented. Every Thursday, Eleanor teaches both Riley and me about legacy planning over tea and cookies. "Ethics before profit," she repeats, her mantra becoming our shared philosophy. As evening descends, I walk through the quiet office. My fingers brush the nameplate on what was once my grandmother's door. Sloane Bennett, CEO. I turn out the lights, pausing at the threshold. My phone buzzes a text from Vanessa. Third attempt this month to reconnect. As I turned out the lights that evening, I wondered if forgiveness is always the right path, or if some bridges are better left unrepaired. My mother had reached out again, seeking reconciliation. Would you open that door, knowing someone's true nature rarely changes, or keep your hard-won peace intact?